Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really special guest, Yuka-chan.
Hi guys! Sorry, my voice is really weird lately.
Thank you for still coming.
Hi, my name is Yuka. I'm 19 years old and I'm currently taking a gap year in Japan after earning double diplomas from both Japanese and Canadian high schools. And currently I am sharing the information about study abroad, language learning, and traveling through social media and public lectures. よろしくお願いします。
She's a very cool influencer on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
No, you are. You are the cool influencer.
No. Yeah, so since we have a guest who's been through like Canadian high school experience and I've been to a US high school, we decided to do 留学生のお悩みコーナー. Yay!
Let's get into it.
So we're gonna talk about 4 things: how we learned English, how we made friends abroad,
How we overcame homesick, and what we should do before studying abroad.
Yep.
So first one, how we learn English.
English, yeah.
Okay. You go first.
So I talked about it in my previous video, so I'll just briefly go through it again. So when I first went to America, I was in 9th grade and I could not speak English at all because the only English experience I had was the education from a Japanese middle school as like a non-returnee. So I knew some textbook English, but I couldn't speak it. But I locked in for 3 months after going to America, and that made me like almost native level, or like at least I can communicate 100% with no problem. So what I did was I made my brain into English because I realized that you cannot really keep the conversation if you're translating from Japanese to English. So I wanted to make sure my brain is fully in English when I'm talking in English. So first thing first, what I did was like stop thinking in Japanese because I want my English thinking brain. So even when I was alone, I made sure my thinking was in English. Like for example, if I'm kind of thinking like "onaka-suita," like you kind of like verbalize it in your brain, right?
Yeah.
But you turn it into English. Like you make sure you intentionally think something in English. Plus, I couldn't speak English back then, so if I cannot verbalize it in English, I stop thinking about it. Like I literally don't think about the things I cannot think in English, but gradually I can think about more and more
Little
things.
by little.
Exactly, yeah. I think this is something you can do even when you're in Japan. Like it doesn't require studying abroad. That's one thing. And I also did like solo conversation in like shower. And it's not like hitorigoto. It's like conversation but solo. Like I like kind of like role play the other person too, because
That's unique. Wow.
yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah, because like every time like I talk with an American person in my high school, after that I feel like, oh, I could have done better. For example, if someone talks about something to me, but I'll just say like, oh, that's nice, and the conversation ends. Like so many things like that happened to me, and I was like, I need to reflect. I need to like practice how to keep the conversation.
Yeah.
So like I would take a shower thinking about all the conversations I had with others, and I'll like kind of repeat what they said to me, and then I'll come up with a better reply, and I'll imagine the reply's reply, and then I'll like keep the conversation going, and I'll imagine like how I could have done to have a longer conversation.
So you created the potential situation
Exactly.
in conversation.
Yeah, inspired
in
by the
real life conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
This is also something you can do without studying abroad. And the other thing I did, it actually requires studying abroad, I think. Like this is literally cutting off everything that involves Japanese except for texting.
Lock in.
Lock in.
Lock in.
Yeah, we took like a short video about like lock in.
Check out on Instagram and TikTok, or on the short on YouTube.
Yeah. So I locked into English. So what I did was like I stopped calling with people who speak Japanese because I didn't want to hear my English, and I also didn't want my mouth to move in Japanese way.
You placed yourself in the English environment.
Exactly. And I stopped reading Japanese books. I stopped watching Japanese YouTube, Japanese shows, like
Movies and stuff.
yeah, like literally everything, and even music. I stopped listening to Japanese music.
Dedication.
Yeah, like all my favorite artists are gone from my playlist. Yeah, so that's what I did, and it worked so well that one time I accidentally clicked a song from a Japanese person, and then I heard it, and I felt like someone like gave me cold shower, like
Oh.
Because it was so strange to me. Like, I was so immersed in English that Japanese felt like cold water.
Yeah. I do get that.
So
I
I
see.
literally did not get involved in Japanese except for texting because I didn't want to ghost my family and friends. Plus flashcards. Oh my god.
Flashcards.
I cannot emphasize enough. I think vocabulary is something that's very important.
Yeah, vocabs are keys.
If you want to say something, if you don't have the word, you can't say anything. Like, if you have a wrong grammar, people still get it.
I know, like, I think the most important thing in order to improve your English is vocab. Like, definitely,
God.
100%.
I'm glad you agree with me because that's what I've been saying for my whole, like, all the videos. Whenever I talk about learning English, I always say that.
Yeah, you can communicate, like, if you know the vocab. They'll understand what you want to say. So they don't care about the grammar. They're not like English teachers. So
if you don't know the grammar, just say movie, watch together or something, and it works.
It works.
So that's what I did, but probably like a lot of my subscribers already know that. So we can move on to this very talented, cute girl.
Stop.
Because I know like you spoke English since you were in like elementary school or something, like, because I saw your like speech video.
Oh my god, you did?
Because you like reposted on Star.
Oh, that was like, I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I was
in elementary
what
school.
is this? What kind of organism is that?
What kind of organism is that?
Very Japanese girl speaking like very good English. I was so surprised. So yeah, I would love to know as a potential future parent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Japan with my Japanese family. None of my family members speak foreign languages, just Japanese. But ever since I was small, I've loved connecting with the people from other countries, learning their languages and like understanding their cultures. And when I was in like elementary school, I live in Osaka, so I used to go to touristic spots in Osaka, like Osaka Castle on weekend. Even though nobody asked me, I just went there to catch random tourists on the street, and I have like a street interview or like did the tour guide.
Really?
Free tour guide.
Oh, you just offered?
Yeah, I just offered.
Aww.
Or like whenever I found tourists who were lost, I offered to help, and it was like, hey, you need help? And then like I just guided them, and like I kept having conversation and like, hey, where are you from? Or like, are you here for traveling and stuff?
When
like,
you were,
I was like, I don't know, 7 years old.
Wow.
From 7 years
I don't even
old.
know if I had like fluent Japanese back then.
Well, I don't know, like, to be honest, I don't know from exactly when I became fluent in English. That is because I think I improved my English little by little. So there's no specific catalyst that improved my English drastically. It was like everyday effort. Well, like, I wasn't learning English as benkyo. For me, I was just doing for fun. I loved talking to people in English. So yeah, that was what I was doing. But おすすめするけど、I don't know if I should おすすめ like 良い子は真似しない方がいいかもしれない like asking to strangers, you know, like even in Japan I can't say 100% safe, so I wouldn't recommend, but just so you know how I did.
What was your basis though? Because like I feel like as a 7-year-old I don't think I even know like where you're from or like are you lost? What was your like very beginning of English?
Well, I used to go to English school, not the whole my life, but when I was in elementary school. And then I had an opportunity to join like a kids beauty pageant as a representative of Japan, and then I had to make a speech in English. So I had a help from my teachers from the English school to practice my speeches. And that's how I started improving my pronunciation and accent. And I also did the shadowing with the it's funny because my pronunciation, the textbook my English school used was British.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then so it's funny because like I used to hear and mimic the British accent, but somehow I started to speak more like American accent.
Yeah, like I don't sense any British from your English.
Me neither. I don't know, but from junior high school, I started going to a 公立の中高一貫校. It's not international school, but they have some classes in English. And then not all students are fluent in English, but they all are interested in learning English, so that I had more chance to speak to native teachers. Well, actively, I was engaged to talk to or ask some questions to native teachers, so that I had more chance to communicate in English. And I've joined some speech contests or programs or those international activities as a representative. That's how I created opportunities to use English, and that's what I liked about. So yeah, I did really enjoy.
So you're like really active to like seek opportunities to
Yes,
like,
yeah.
output.
Especially English. Like, I don't like math. I don't like science. I'm not smart. I just like
You're
learning
smart.
languages. Like, it's just my hobby. It's part of my hobby.
That's very cool.
So, 勉強って友達にできたから、I kept pursuing.
Oh, that's
learning.
true. I feel like a lot of Japanese people perceive English as
勉強。
academics. Yeah. Maybe because it's like one of the subjects in school.
Yeah.
And I do agree, like, English in my middle school purely felt like just academic something.
And the way they teach is more like focusing on grammars.
Yeah, like
and,
writing,
yeah,
memorizing,
just like copying
yeah.
and then they teach like a name of the, how do I say, like 大過去とかさ
grammatic terms, like terminology is like very heavy. Yeah.
Well, nobody says that in English. We don't need that in.
I don't think Americans know like
They don't even know.
SVO, blah,
So
blah, blah.
to me, English is a tool of communication. It's not the terms.
Yeah.
You could communicate. That's the main point.
I think basic grammars are still important. You should know the structures, but you don't need to memorize all the terminology of it. For example, like
You don't need to know the term 家庭法過去 as long as you can say if I were you.
like it's fine. Like as long as you know those basics, you just like go explore how to like output them. If you like think of it as like a tool instead of like learning, maybe you'll have less 苦手意識 or like it feels more interesting.
Yeah.
Like it was fun for me to learn English because I was just watching like a funny Netflix show and I was like, oh, just by doing this, I get a new skill. That's like very rare. I feel like a lot of the skills require very like ugly jobs. But like English is so fun. You talk with your friends. I mean, just like her, like she was in Japan, but she still found a lot of people to talk with. That's so impressive because in Japan, like I didn't seek any opportunities and I thought it would be very hard to create an environment that you would have if you study abroad. Like surrounded by so many foreigners, like you can talk English. I thought that's like almost impossible, but she proved it wrong. So you can output it anywhere.
I think many of Japanese students are focusing only input, but the combination of input and output are the important part.
Yeah, I think it's like a reinforcing loop. You input, output. Oh, I realized that I still don't know how to say this.
Yeah.
And then you input again.
You repeat this process.
I think failure is such a good opportunity because if you fail, you know what you don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to cover everything. But when you're having a conversation, if you feel like something is lacking in order to deliver something that you want to deliver, that means you need to learn that thing.
Yeah.
So I really love to like fail. I used to collect words that I couldn't come up with during conversations. Like I used to take notes and then like look up later and store it in my notebook. Yeah, I think failure is very important. So I hope everyone is like not afraid to
Make mistakes.
yeah, and like challenge yourself. Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Next, how we made friends abroad.
Because this is one of the biggest topics that we received on Instagram DM.
Yeah.
And she has a very interesting episode. So yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm first. So first of all, even when I was in Japan, my personality is quite outgoing.
Yeah.
So I love making friends, regardless of age or gender. Or in Japan we have senpai kohai. 関係なく, I had friends inside and outside of school. So I wasn't really worrying about making friends in Canada. Also because I wasn't worrying about my English ability. So I was like, I'll make friends, you know. And I was really excited that I can make international friends. Not just international students, but also local Canadian student friends. Then I moved to Canada. And from the very first day of school, I talked to every single student I saw and like say, hi, where are you from? Then we exchanged our numbers or Snapchats or Instagrams. And then we took like pictures. But, you know, it was more like yotomo. It was really hard to become close friends. And also, the area that I was living in Canada, it had a lot of international students, especially from Europe. But a lot of students were gathering with their own countries and speaking
Yeah.
their own languages.
Uh-huh.
And local Canadian students were like, they're having international students every single semester. And they're kind of like not interested in making
Yeah.
international friends.
Yeah.
They're like, there was like a line between international students and local students. And among the international students, there were like separate groups of countries. And there was, of course, like some Japanese students groups. And with some like other Asian countries students. But one of the reasons I came to Canada was to make international friends. And then there's no point if I'm just like staying with my Japanese friends group in Canada. So I was not avoiding them, but I was trying to be in the international group. But since they were all gathering with their own countries and Canadian students were staying with Canadian groups, I felt so isolated. I was shocked that I'm in a situation that I've never faced before. And I was crying like almost every day for the first month. But like I didn't want to give up. I was like, why am I doing this? Like I'm not here to just cry and then like don't know what to do. I just need to make actions. So I started to dive into like each group.
Wow.
Some weekends I dived into like Brazilian group or like German group.
How do you join them?
Well, I was like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And then I came up with an idea that the problem in making international friends was that we don't know each other. And I thought that the most important thing is to have a curiosity for each other. So I made an opportunity to gather and interact with international students. So I held like お互いの国の料理を振る舞う会 So I held like a weekly gathering with other international students. Like for example, like this week I'm gonna cook some Japanese food. So next week, can you guys make some Italian food? And the another week, I asked my German friends if they can teach me how to cook some German cuisines, and to Brazilian friends and French friends. By doing so, we started to get to know each other, and we were able to learn each other's languages and cultures. So that's how I create a chance to have interactions, and then I was able to make many international students friends at the end of the year.
I mean, this is so amazing. When I first heard this, I was like, wow, you're so like creative, outgoing, and I think it needs a lot of courage. Like, I'll be so shy to create an event and like
dive
ask
into
people
a
out.
group.
Exactly, and say like, hey, can you guys come to my party? Like, this is insane. But if you do it, people are actually like willing to join, right?
Yes, what I realized was that food is, how do I say? 食は世界共通. It's so interesting to learn other countries' cuisines. And then I was happy when I see them excited to try some Japanese food. And I was also excited to try some other countries' food. So that makes a stronger bond and connection between us. And I think that was the catalyst of having closer relationships with the other students.
That's actually smart. I realized that like non-Japanese people
Yeah.
are so interested in food. When you say like, oh, there are snacks in this event, then like people in like American high school, colleges, they're like, oh, then I'm going.
They love
Exactly.
it.
Like in Japan, like yeah, we love food, but like we're not like enthusiastic to like everything that involves food.
And I was happy because a lot of my friends love sushi.
Okay.
And not just sushi, but they're excited to explore different dishes from Japan as well. So if you are going abroad, it'll be one of the ideas that you learn how to cook before you go.
Food. This is such a brilliant idea. Like if you don't know how to ask people out on a hangout, maybe you don't even need to cook. Like say like, oh, I know a good Japanese restaurant, or like if it involves food, people are so down to join you, I think.
Food saves the world. What about you?
Okay, I'm not this kind of very outgoing case, so maybe this is more relatable to more people. I don't know. I'll talk from a perspective of average outgoingness, like instead of this, oh my god, everyone is friends. So I made friends mostly naturally instead of intentionally doing so many things like you, like talking to everyone you had eye contact with or like hosting events. But I can talk about what made me make friends. I think the easiest way to start is to start with interacting with international students. I'm not saying you should stick with international students only, but if you have a few friends, then you're not alone anymore. So if you make like a few international friends, then as a group you join an American group, like hey, hey, do you guys want to have lunch together? It's so much easier, especially for someone who's kind of shy. I'm very shy, like when I first meet someone.
Really?
Like,
Are you?
yeah, like I'm fine once we're friends, but like for the first time I'm so shy. I'm like 人見知り, but once we're friends I'm like, yay, hey bro, like so I don't think I'll be able to just dive into whatever group by myself. So in order to have those peers, my advice is to start with international students, because international students, everyone is looking for bonds. They're looking for someone to connect with because they feel lonely too.
They're in the same situation.
Exactly.
They left their home country,
Uh-huh.
their family and friends. They feel lonely.
Yeah,
They want to
yeah.
make friends.
Uh-huh.
So
American people are mostly like, oh, I already have my friends group. Also, my school is connected from kindergarten, so they have very strong bonds.
I
It
can
was
relate to you.
Really, yeah, it was very hard to make
yeah,
American.
they
friends.
already have like a community.
Exactly.
Right.
Like we're friends for 10 years. Like, okay. If you start with international students, another good thing that I felt in my first year was that international students' English are not as good as American students, which sounds negative, but this was actually positive for me because they talk more slowly. When I first talked with American students in my first year, I couldn't understand like half of what they're saying because they talk like, you know, like this fast. But international students,
Their first language is not English.
exactly, so they're still trying, but they can speak English, so it was way easier for me to talk with them as an English beginner compared to American friends. So that was another thing that I found was good. And then there are really outgoing international students like her. Yeah, every school has, maybe not as powerful as her, but there are like international students who are surprisingly good at making friends with everyone. So my case was, my best friend was a Vietnamese girl, but she spoke perfect English because she used to go to international school before that. So she easily made American friends. So once I'm friends with her, I got to interact with her American friends. I think it's very hard to start with American people. So if you feel like it's difficult, you can totally start with non-native international friends. Another advice I have is you should do more than zagaku. For example, intentionally pick electives that are not zagaku, like dance or art or acting. Those things that require you to like group up or you can talk meanwhile. If you're taking, for example, psychology, then we're just doing this. You don't talk with them because in Western countries, you guys don't have time in between classes to interact that much because you need to like move around classrooms like a college student in Japan. So electives and also extracurricular activities related
like club
to school.
activities.
Yeah, like
volunteering.
sports. Definitely join that kind of like teams or clubs or that kind of things.
Some schools have like sports festival. My school had
Okay.
one. So like those festivals would be a great chance to know somebody that you never talked before.
Yeah, or sign up to optional events. Like don't miss any opportunities. Like if you find any events, just sign up.
There might be some party.
These are my advice.
Listen.
Thank you everyone for watching. If you like this video, please comment, like, subscribe. I'm gonna reply to all the comments, so please comment. I want to talk with you guys. And see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye bye.